Get out a pencil and paper, please. So here's what I want to write down. First of all, write down the average commission check you earn. What's the average commission check? When you close an escrow, the check amount is $5,000, $8,000, $10,000, $27,000, whatever the average commission check is, write that number down, okay? Now, if everything was working and you were doing most of what Mike and I were asking you on a regular basis, how many of those commission checks do you think you could earn in a given month? 1, 2, a half? Neil doesn't know what the hell he's talking about. You know, 1 every quarter? I don't know. 3 in a month? So if the average check was, let's say, $10,000, and you could close 3 transactions a month, that's $30,000. So write that number down. Now, here's the question. Between what you're doing now, right now, in terms of daily, weekly activities, and the activities that you need to do on a daily, weekly basis, how big is that gap? What is that gap? Is it this big? Is it this big? For the time that you spend, the hours that you're working on, the scripts that you're learning, the things that you need to do, the daily and weekly activities, how large is that gap between where I am and where I would like to be? Because what I wrote down here was the statement of why today matters. So write that down. Why today matters. Question. What do Ted Becara, Lisa Ray, Mike Darda, and Michael Ireland have in common? Those are the 4 people that we saw up at the Superstar Retreat that Mike had on stage. What do those 4 people have in common?
Coaching, they practice.
They're in coaching and they practice. Go ahead. What else?
They do what they're supposed to do.
They do what they're supposed to do. Okay.
They believe in themselves.
They believe in themselves. Absolutely. Tess?
A strong mindset.
They have a strong mindset. Okay, good.
Schedule.
They work on their schedule or keep to their schedule. Good. Right. They're coachable. Okay. All of these are correct. There's one commonality that they have that we have right now. May I tell you? All those superstars started at the beginning. At the first. They were small, then they were large. You get it? They all started tiny. They all started with the first door. They all started with the first script. They all started with the first phone call. They all started down here. And then I wrote down here, they're average people doing average activities. They just did them over and over and over and over and over and over again. And now they're getting what? Big results. Average people, think about this. Average people doing average activities. There's not one thing that any one of us in this room can't do right off. It's not brain surgery. It's not neurosurgery where a brain surgeon or a neurosurgeon ties these little nerves together and they sew it together and they put all this stuff and then your brain works and all that stuff connects. That takes talent. That takes training. That takes and most of us could probably never even get there. But average people doing average things like reading a script over and 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 over again. Previewing property, going and seeing the properties. Now they're getting big results. I wrote down here, common trait in all successful people is that they are consistent in the small things. Their power is in taking small steps consistently. Write that down. Small steps consistently. There's nothing amazing about any one of those people that are doing amazing things. Average people, average activities, consistently over time. I wrote down here, most agents are not moving forward today simply because they're not willing to take the small steps necessary on a regular basis. You know, if you start to think about what I'm talking about here, we start to feel kind of bad about ourselves. Because the truth is that there's nothing special about those 4 people who are doing some pretty extraordinary things. Does that make sense? You guys get this? They just get up every day and they do what they're supposed to do. Pretty amazing stuff. I wrote down here, don't be afraid to take small steps. There's something powerful in momentum. When we talked a little bit about momentum earlier, there's something powerful in momentum, no matter how small the momentum. So I throw this thought at you. So if you've not done a 5-5-10, try it. This afternoon. It's plenty of time. Go out and preview 5 houses today. Go out and door knock 5 expireds today. And go out and go see, go door knock 10 houses around each one of them. Do that in the rest of the day. Plenty of time. It gets, how late is it dark?
8.
8 o'clock. Plenty of time. So if you've never done one, do it today. If you can't do it today because of prior commitments, do it tomorrow. Do one. Just one. And then come back and tell me or tell your coach how that went. What was the positive? What was the negative? I wrote down here, stop playing small and stop being average. Stop playing small and stop being average. Each choice begins a chain of events that ultimately determines our destiny. If what you do today affects where you'll be tomorrow, think about this. If what you'll do today, going to see and do a 5-5-10, working on your script, staying for our advanced strat class and working on the scripts and dialogues, doing that, getting up tomorrow morning, doing what you're supposed to do, showing up at the blitzes on a regular basis. If doing that on a regular basis is going to get you a little better result tomorrow, then tomorrow you're going to have a better result to build on for the day after. You guys get this? Any of you work out?
Yes.
When you work out and you start your workout process, how easy is it to pick up those 50-pound weights?
Hard.
Hard? How about impossible? Certainly for, well, okay. For some. How about for me? I'll speak for me. It's impossible, okay? But if I start working out with the 5-pounders for me, okay, and I go to the 8s, and I go to the 10s, and I go to the 15s, and I go to the 20s, and I go to the 25s, and then the 35s, and then you start pushing those 50s. That's how it works. The same thing with prospecting, the same thing with door knocking. We start building on our successes. I wrote down, if you knew of one action that you could perform today that would increase the likelihood of your success tomorrow, would you hesitate to perform it today?
No.
If you knew of one item, you would not. Every one of you said, no, I would jump at it immediately. Well, don't we know of some of those one items? Is there something I'm asking you to do? Is there something on this map page here, our checklist designed to add 25 closed transactions in 12 months, our Master's Advantage program? Is there something on that sheet that you know if you did, you started to take action on, that if you did over time would make a dramatic change? Why aren't we doing it? Can you help me? Why don't we do it? Sorry? Because we have options, okay. Okay, because no one's making us do it. Okay, good. What else?
Complacency.
Because we're complacent, okay, good. All right, what else? No accountability, meaning that no one's making us do it. Okay? So why don't you pretend like I'm making you do it? Okay? He goes, oh, Neil, he's not going to make us do it. But what if we did? Would that change your life? Would that really change your life?
Yes.
So what you're doing is you're blaming me for you're not succeeding, because if I would say I'd fire you, it's always my fault. How does this happen? How does that happen? Okay. You have the choice. The problem is you have too many choices. What are you going to do different about it today? What are you going to do different about it today? Whatever your goals are, resolve now to do one thing, no matter how small that thing is, to bring you closer to the realization of your goal. If you can do this, then today will be a success, and tomorrow you will build on that success. That's why today matters. Doing what you're supposed to do when you're supposed to do it today matters. Now you can put today off till tomorrow, but then it becomes tomorrow matters. Okay? But wouldn't it be better if you did the activity today, and then tomorrow you would build on it again, and then the next day you'd build on it again? Am I driving anybody nuts? This makes sense, right?
Right.
I wrote down here, the toughest decision in real estate is making a commitment to do something. The problem is we have too many options. We talked about this. We have way too many options. If you want to ensure a great second half this year, then we need to review and do these 3 points for the next 5 months. So I'm going to read them to you. I'll email them to you. And what you need to do is every day, in the morning and the evening, you need to read and review and do these 3 things. Number 1, understand the value of the accumulation effect on my business. If you do anything regularly for a long time, it will create results over time. Yes or no?
Yes.
Exercise. Eating. Look, this is not one big taco. Okay? This was many, many little tacos over time. Okay? Now, if I eat less tacos, there's a really good chance I'll be able to slim down to that svelte self of mine, right? But if I continue to eat all those little tacos, I'm just going to grow. The same thing with my exercise. But the same rule applies with saving money. If I save $100 a week, over time, I'm going to have a decent amount of money. If I don't save the money and I keep spending it, I won't. The same thing goes with exercise. When I exercise on a daily, weekly basis, doing the little things, adding to it, I'm going to get better. It's the accumulation effect. You've got to get that and start working it. Number 2, know that the market does not determine if I make my goal. It does determine what I have to do in order to make my goal. We got that from the retreat. I'll say it again. Know that the market does not determine if I make my goal, it does determine what I have to do in order to make my goal. And then number 3, intense daily practice, not just to learn, but to become better. Intense daily practice. Don't just mail it in. You learn the script, learn it, own it, make it yours. If you're going to preview property so that you understand what's going on in the marketplace. And if somebody asks you a question, you know the answer. I wrote down here, waste money, and you've only wasted money. Waste time, and you waste part of your life. I'll say it one more time. Waste money, and you've only wasted money. Waste time, and you've wasted part of your life. You cannot continue to do that and expect to have a great second half of this year. Be focused, be consistent, and be committed. And then let's watch what happens in the second half of this year. Have a great week. Thank you.